There's one thing that I've noticed about you. You're promoting other people's music.
Yeah.
And I think in this day and age, that doesn't happen.
But I think now we have almost like 3 categories. So there's the underground, the EDM, and then there's this kind of crossover EDM pop. Some people like that and they do everything to be at the top, take the shirt off and dance like crazy, throw cakes, juggle while you're playing, play with your boobs, I don't know.
I've been wanting to get you on the podcast for so long. So first of all, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
How's you just said that you just played Panorama Bar last weekend. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it was on Sunday, yeah.
How was it?
It was great as always. I was just thinking about it that, most of the time when I travel alone. And so, when I play in Berlin or especially Panorama Bar, it's really nice because then my family, my husband's coming, my friends are coming, lots of like-minded people. And it's just 3 minutes walk from my place. So it's pretty much, so it's really the best and I can stay there. And yeah, it's always really nice.
I love that. It's pretty, having a hometown gig is the nicest feeling, being able to just get into your bed afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And I live so close, I don't even need to take a taxi, because
oh, really?
It's like 2.5 minutes walk or 3 minutes walk. So it's really nice. And especially this weekend, I had a gig on Friday, which was postponed or canceled or something. And then my booker was, shall we look for another gig? And I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to take it easy and just only take the Sunday gig and just be at home.
Just chill.
And, it was really nice.
I love that. Did you grow up in Berlin?
No, I grew up more towards the French border. It's a small town, but the next bigger town is called Saarbrücken. So it's like 25 minutes to France. And it's like also an hour, 1.5 away from Frankfurt. But I live in Berlin since 1999.
Yeah, a good amount of time.
Yes. I lived here longer than I lived somewhere else.
Yeah. How's Berlin changed over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the usual thing when things get very popular. Of course, lots of people are coming, and then the cheap areas suddenly that get discovered by the artists, and that also brings other investments and stuff like that. So, I mean, I've been throwing illegal parties in like 2004, 5, and 6, and I was still possible. And now everything is a bit more settled. We have proper clubs and with a lot of employees. But I think still Berlin is still a special place, like especially the club scene is still so free. And we always had this no photo policy. And I think that made it so special. And also we also don't have closing hours, which is nice. I mean, for some people it's good, maybe for some not so good. So the parties can go until Monday, Tuesday, and I think it's this pure freedom. And I mean, otherwise, I live in the same flat for 15 years, which is nice. But it changed a lot, but I still love it. So I think I could never live somewhere else.
Yeah, I do like it. I've only probably been going there to Berlin maybe over the last 10 years, maybe 8. And it's definitely changed, but there's still something that it doesn't also change, if that makes sense. Which is really interesting because even I used to live in New York, and where I lived then, I used to live in Williamsburg, and that was 2015, and even from 2015 to now, it's completely changed. There's no clubs, there's amazing restaurants. There's bloody Lululemon. Who would have thought these major stores are there now? And it's pretty wild how quickly that's changed. But Berlin, for a major city, it's still not changed that much that it feels still kind of organic about it in a weird way.
Yeah, I think there's still so much to discover or to develop and stuff. And I mean, when I travel every weekend, and I'm in all these other beautiful cities with better weather, I'm like, oh my God, I could also live here. And then I'm coming back, the trains are late or canceled, and the escalator is not working. I'm like, what a place, And really right in the middle of everything. So it's I was always calling it the Bermuda Triangle of Berkheim, Watergate, and some other clubs and stuff. And then you just walk into dog shit, and it's like you're like, okay, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, but it's still so nice. I don't know, it has a special vibe. You have to love it or not. It's
Yeah, definitely. You kind of, I'm really interested with your career because obviously you're a DJ producer.
Yeah.
You own a record label, but you also run a record shop, Elevate.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, can you explain to people that listen in like what Elevate is? Because there's a lot of younger people that listen to this that have never stepped foot into a record shop, especially of a record shop of what you run.
Yeah. I had the luck to already work in a record store in the middle of the 90s. So I think from 95, 96. And now I have my own shop since 7 years, which came by mistake. And luckily it's just next door from my flat, which is really handy. And I would say we just sell the typical DJ food, the EPs, the stuff you would play in a store, in the clubs. And sometimes we also have albums and stuff, but it's really just the DJ stuff we are selling. And it's really nice. I mean, it's especially in COVID, when everything was closed, like people were buying so many records, and I had the opportunity to support my friends and other artists in like a different way, and also I was also connecting with people in a different way, because it's not that people had to buy entrance or they had to come to a club. They, I don't know, they just came to the store. There's not so much loud music. You could really have a chat about stuff. And I thought that was really nice. And I think we built a quite strong and quite nice community around that.
Yeah.
Like loads of like-minded people.
I miss record store culture. I miss going to the record store and kind of like the relationships you build in them. Like, it's so key.
It's so good. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if you know, but my husband, he's from Offenbach, where Robert Johnson is. And he had a record store in Frankfurt called the Freebase. And they opened really early, I think 92, 93, 94, a little bit with punk music, but then very quickly they made a change to electronic music. And it's so crazy. You're always meeting people. It's like, oh yeah, I had an internship at this shop, and now this person is running a big booking agency. And of course, lots of artists and also lots of people that bought records from him, Sven Fade and Ricardo Villalobos and Richie. And everyone was, you're married with him. Yeah. And I think it's really beautiful to see that the friendships that were made back in the days in the store, they still exist, and the people are still in the scene. And also when I worked in the record store back in the days, I still have friends from there. I still have distributor friends from there.
Yeah.
And it's something beautiful, because the people are on the same level, they're like-minded, and it's easy to make friendships there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's also to like build a community out of a record shop. It was kind of it was the heart of the industry then, right?
Yeah.
How have you found it in the last 7 years of owning it? Like because obviously you kind of went into it when record sales had obviously massively dropped anyway, right? People weren't, it was all digital then already. So how have you found that on like a business level?
Yeah. I mean, I never planned to open a shop. It just like by mistake. No, I think the history or the story starts a bit earlier. So I think you remember when I had Besto Modus, the label. And I think we started in 2011, 2012. And that was the start of like a new kind of house generation. I'm thinking about Malawis Underground from Jeremy Underground. I'm thinking about Malangini, thinking about Slap Funk, thinking about what is the label name again? Anyway, so many people, or DJ Stu from France, with Vigilance, and I think this was a new generation, and all of us, we were really like playing records, digging records, and I think all the other ones were digging for records on Discogs and stuff like that. And when we came in with Besto Modus, I mean, we started with a pressing of 300 copies, and we were like, okay, let's see if we're going to sell them. We sold them in 24 hours. And then at the peak, we sold 4,000 or 5,000 records, you know, that was really special back then. And so I think it all came back. As always in music, it's always going in circles or in loops, as you would say.
Yeah.
And so when we started, or when I started the record shop, we were still selling a lot of records. But then, of course, over the years, I mean, in COVID, it was also nice. But then after COVID, I mean, the energy crisis came, so the manufacturing price of the records went up. Then, there were so many things. You know, the people had less money in the pocket.
Yeah.
Then there's the thing with Ukraine started, and everyone was like, what's going on with this world? And I think it dropped a little bit, but then if you have a good record, then it can still sell a couple of hundreds, thousand records. It's still possible. I'm talking about this nice edit we had from a German artist. It's a nice house remix with a Alicia Keys sample, and like that record, you know, I posted it. We have it in the shop. It's like bam, bam, bam. The orders came in. Yeah. Then we had another thing during COVID. It was an edit, I think, from Artwork.
Yeah.
It was Oh Superman and...
Yeah, I remember.
Yes. What was it? Oh Superman and Spacer Woman or something. And the shop went nuts. You know, I have this sign ka-ching on my phone and get an order in. And then at some point it was almost too much. You know, it was almost getting out of it. So, no, I just wrapped at 300 orders, you know. Yeah. And I think those things are like winning the lottery. You really have to pick the right records first and really push it. And then, I mean, if I have a personal connection to the artist, I try to have it like exclusive. Or if I see, okay, a record is really running, I try to buy a lot so I can sell it. And then obviously my stuff is always working really, really well because obviously it's my store. You know, I have friends, and so it's a hard business. You're not getting rich, but we have one employee, and my husband is obviously helping a lot. And yeah, it's just also the community around it, you know. So that's more rewarding.
There's honestly something so romantic about it, and like obviously from an outsider's point of view, I can sit back and go, "Oh my god, I bet that's amazing." But I bet there's stresses that come with it. There's stresses that come with every business, right?
Yeah.
But there's something. Go for it.
I mean, doing taxes sucks, and then obviously, I mean, we all know the delivery companies, they not the best. So it's so many lost packages and stuff like that. That's really bad. But then, of course, when you have like people coming into the store, or I mean, usually before I play in Berlin at whatever Panorama Bar somewhere else, we always have a couple of drinks because it's an extension of the living room. We are listening to some music and then we all go over. So that's really, really nice.
No, there's something so beautiful about it. It makes me want to start one. It makes me want to start a record shop and just like build a community around that. It's like a youth club, right? It's a youth club for a bunch of geeky music dudes and girls, right? It's like that was what it was. And
and I think it still has the vibe, you know, and also still from these 7 years, you know, I made so many like friendships with people. Of course, some they come and go, you know, of course, in 7 years, so much is happening. Some have kids, they have to spend their money for other stuff. But we have a lot of people, they're always coming, they're regulars, they trust our taste. And also, I mean, back in the days, there was a saying that the deals were made in a record store. So you really had to go to the store to meet the promoters, the resident DJs, and then get in contact and then ideally getting booked. And I had a beautiful thing a couple of years ago when Will Saul from Oz was at the store. And another friend of mine, Damiano from Eckert, he's also resident at Robert Johnson, really good producer. And then I put them together, and then he made 2 singles on Oz and an album. And I was like, it's like back in the days, you know?
Yeah. No, I love that. Do you think it's a viable business for other major cities in this day and age? Because Berlin's very different. It's very special. It's a very unique, it's a very unique demographic, right? And as you know, like most record shops over the world have closed down. But again, you've still got Phonica. Phonica in London is still doing, and there's plenty of record shops in London. But do you think it's like? Do you think it could be something that in the future could come back?
Yeah, definitely. I think this community aspect is really, really big.
Yeah.
I think that the people are a little bit bored of like doing everything online, just anonymously ordering records or whatever going on a digital platform and being alone. And I think that people just want to communicate and find like-minded people. That's a good advantage for the record stores. But of course, you really have to think about the future, or you have to do special things. For example, we have some kind of in-store gigs,
Yeah.
So other people can find us. And then, I also heard from other record stores, okay, they do, I don't know, they have some different kind of records. So they also have a bit more like commercial records, which they only sell online, not really in the shop. So they have a broader, a wider offer of records and stuff like that.
Of course.
Yeah, and then obviously because the records are so expensive at the moment, it's like a luxury good. The people, or especially the younger generation, always goes straight to the secondhand where they can find some records for a really good price. And we also started buying some record collections, and I was selling a lot of stuff from my collection, and we almost ran out of secondhand records. So now we're buying some stuff, and I think you just always need to push it and say, hello, we're still here. And but we also have quite a strong Instagram community where I always post new records. And then obviously when I play a gig, and someone did a video and I post it, and people are like, oh, what is it? And it's like, yeah, this and that. And I have it at the shop, and then you see the orders coming in. So it's, it all goes hand in hand, which is very nice.
Yeah, it's amazing as well. And I think it's one thing that I've noticed about you from like a distance online. And you're promoting other people's music.
Yeah.
And I think in this day and age, that doesn't happen as often, because as artists, we're selfish and we want to get gigs ourselves. And everyone, the kind of the quintessential DJ is becoming less and less. The DJ is now the producer, is now the influencer, is now everything, right? So they have to, as artists, we have to promote our own music. We have to be the face fronting, and promoting somebody else's record on a post can be, it's just not done as often now. Like the amount of DJs that post videos of them playing other people's records is becoming less and less nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's sad, because we all play other people's records. Right.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Yeah. It's the whole point of being a DJ, especially if you're doing a 10-hour set, like you're playing other people's records.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what's kept you in the community as well, is the support for other artists that you have?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. I have some friends, and when I did a post, or when I posted it on the shop page, they got back to me and said, it's crazy, we just sold out the whole pressing.
Wow.
300 or 500 copies just because of this post. And one of my friends, he also got some gigs from that. He was also booked to Panorama Bar. He played there before, but it's been quite some time. And I think that's very nice. And this is how it should be, because the music is all about the community and stuff. Yeah. Or maybe I'm romanticizing it too much, but this is how I got socialized with it, that everything is in the community. And also from working in the shop back in the days, I always had people coming and I'm looking for this track, and can I sing it? And then they try to imitate a drum machine, and I always did it, so it was always my job, or always my passion, or I just love to share music, and
it's amazing, because it's like I'm really good friends with Adam, who's Party Response, or Arlo. You're playing with in Bristol this Saturday.
I know. I met him in. Was it also in Bristol? I don't know. I played with him. No, I didn't play with him, but he gave me a record. Yeah.
And it's amazing, because obviously he has his previous project that did pretty well. And I just love the fact that like you're still digging for records, like properly digging. Like the fact that you came across his stuff and support his stuff is like, it's kind of unheard of nowadays. It's like, it feels that you work very music first, and then everything else after.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like nowadays And I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm not saying whatever's better or worse, but it feels like nowadays it's like, oh, okay, you're popping off on social media. I can now go and check you out, right? It's not actually about how good the music is to start with. Do you feel like that can change back? If you are looking to get into the music industry, whether that's as a producer, DJ, songwriter, or you just want to learn more about the craft, Point Blank Music School is the place to do it. They've got courses both online and in person, covering everything you need to know to level up your skills. They've even just launched a brand new 2- and 4-year degree program in music production and audio engineering at the LA campus. And for you lucky listeners of this podcast, you can get 20% off selected courses when you use the code word WillClarke20 at checkout. Hit the link in the description and use the code word WillClarke20 at checkout. Point Blank Music School. Power up your music career, people.
I think it's more like the scene kind of gets divided, so there's an audience that really loves clubbing. They want to go out, they want to meet new people, they want to listen to really good music because they are a little bit bored of what's played in the radio, and they also want to get a bit loose, discover the nightlife and stuff like that. And then also there's other people, they just have a stressful job and they just want to go out at the weekend, get hammered, have a little bit of music in the background, or just want to be entertained. That's why we have people hanging down a rope from clubs, or people throwing cakes, or people doing the dance performance.
And, I'm clipping that out. That's amazing.
And I'm always saying, choose your fighter, or how DVS once said, when you remember when EDM was really big, and it got super commercial, we were like, oh my God, what happened? We're selling into soul. And now it's kind of over with that, but still we had 10, 15, 20% of those people, they listen to horrible commercial music. They were like, no, what else is there? Now we have them in the house music scene, or in the techno scene, or minimal scene, or whatever. So I think, or when I'm thinking back to me when I was younger, I also had one of those Thunderdome CDs. I'm not sure if you remember them, like the Willy Rotterdam stuff,
Yeah. And I never had one, luckily. I never had one, but it's fine.
Yeah. I bought one. I don't know why, but one of the first ones. And I was also listening to a bit of like radio music, of course, and like Pitch Mode, and also like the early like house techno electronic stuff. And also had this Thunderdome one, and I listened to it for a month, and I was like, it's really cool, it's really hard, it's like really, and I wanted to annoy my parents, but then after I was like, oh my God, this is so stressful, this music, let's look for something. And I can imagine that the people use this, let's say, hard music, which is very popular at the moment, use it as an entry drug, and then they see all the shows from the DJs up there, and then it's like, I don't know, it's nice, but let's see what else is there. And then maybe they end up on a house party where the people are grooving, the DJs on the same level. You can always ask for the name of the record. You can have a shot with the DJ. It's just about this community and sharing. And then you're suddenly like, wow, this is my place, and other people will be like, no, I just want to have DJs flying with a helicopter into a stadium.
Yeah, because I guess it's such a strange. There's so many polar opposites of where we sit in the industry, but we're also, all of us now, even more so from the EDM days. I feel like we're in EDM again, but we're also so much closer to being at the EDM. Whereas before, I think when it was like Swedish House Mafia, Guetta, like Afrojack, all those guys that were doing their thing, there was a definite like clear underground, and even if we believe in an underground, but there was an underground and an overground.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Whereas I feel like now, like you can get booked for a festival that you're one below the headliner, which is that David Guetta of today, right? Which I think then muddies the water when it comes to where do we sit in the industry?
Yeah.
And how are we artists in the industry? What do we need to do to play both sides? And you can earn tens of thousands playing some festivals, and then you go and play 500 quid at Berghain, right? Like there's no kind of like level of like, this is where you sit. Do you prefer that? Do you like that we're allowed to do that nowadays?
Yes, I think nowadays it's more established to do both. So we have people, they play some underground places, but then they play a big festival and they play right before. I mean, who's commercial, whatever. Let's say
Fred again.
Yeah, or Fred again, or maybe even Peggy Goo, something like this, and I would never play there because it's not really where I feel like I belong to. So, but I can understand some others are like, oh, I don't care, and it's good money. I don't know how long I can do that for. And but I think nowadays it's definitely more accepted, because I remember back in the days there was such a bashing, if you played one more commercial gig, they were like, oh my gosh, she's selling out or he's selling out. And I remember whole storms about who was it? Maybe Ricardo Villalobos played some a bit more commercial festivals. Oh my God, he's selling out, And nowadays it's more accepted. But I think now we have almost like 3 categories. So there's the underground, the EDM, and then there's this kind of crossover EDM pop, almost pop music kind of thing. For example, what we have with Peggy Goo, because she's not really. I wouldn't consider her being like a underground or like a DJ. It's more pop music, That's also fine, It's just choose your fighter. But people realize it's a multi-million-dollar business, and some people really want to have their cut of the cake. And and some people like that, and they do everything to be at the top. Take the shirt off and dance like crazy, throw cakes, juggle while you're playing. Play with your boobs, I don't know. The list is long. Yeah, I don't know. It's and I know a lot of people they're kind of hating about it, or it's like, sell out of the scene. But there's the audience, they want to see this, and there's the audience, they want to see that. It's each to their own. And if you, as an artist, decide to go full commercial, do it for 3-4 years, and then you're out. Fair enough. But for me, it's more like. I spent most of my life there. I started going out when I was 15, and met all my friends there. And for me, it's still this kind of like passion and connecting to the people. And I don't know, when I had a stressful day, just let me play for 4 hours, and after that, my brain is free again. And that's how it is for me.
Yes, I love that you're so confident in where you stand. I think it's like, I can struggle with it myself of like, what do I actually want? Right. Because I think like where I sit in the industry, it's kind of an in between. Like I have had bigger records that have had some sort of commercial success that has put me on festivals or lineups or headline shows but then also I love playing the smaller undergroundy parties, but I would never say I've ever been underground, if that makes sense. And then it's like, where do you sit or where do I sit as an artist? And it's always been a battle of like, what do you want out of it? I guess like leading into the question, have you ever questioned what you want, or is it just always been straight, this is who you are and this is what you want in your career?
Of course, I ask myself questions, but not so much because I really questioned myself about what I was doing. It was more like, when you get at a certain point, and especially when I started Best Modus and I had more attention, and then later I started Crystal Grooves, my label, and everyone was playing my tunes, and everyone wanted a record or a remix and stuff like that, and I had lots of press, And then the people that come up to me is like, yeah, you should do this and that, and you should get a manager, and then do this, and then do crossover pop album. And I'm like, hang on a second, this is not what I want, And but then of course you have all these like, let's say like a devil on your shoulder and an angel on your shoulder, and the devil is like, no, do it, cash out, take it all, and the angel is like, no, come on, you're not gonna be happy, just do what you prefer, do what you like, and. I think it's when you get influenced by some other people from outside. They trying to put you in a how's it called, I think Amy Winehouse said it once, she said that the bigger majors, they wanted to put her in like a box or or she was rectangled, and then they wanted to put her in like a round box, and that's of course not going to happen, So yeah, I think there's some people, they think, okay, let's take her, we can make something out of her, and let's try to change her. But I mean, some people would probably say yes, but then I had to listen to my heart, and I was like, okay, this is not what I like,
Yeah.
And so and then of course I'm getting older. I have a daughter, so that's changing a lot, It's also, you start to think about, okay, what's good for my daughter? What kind of role model do I want to be? And also when she's coming, so, I want to do this and that. I'm like, yeah, but if you want it, you also need to work for it. It's not that you go on Instagram
click your fingers.
And you're suddenly famous or something. I mean, thank God I'm going to be that. But it's I think it's also just the age. You're getting more confident, and I think where I am now, I'm very confident. But of course, I can also play. I play the Factor two times per year, 3 times per year. And some people said, "Oh, it's super commercial," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not playing different kind of music." Everyone thinks you have to play all the hits, and it's like, no, the crowd is actually really open. I play one guilty pleasure or one track that's a bit more well known in my sets, and still the floor is full and no one's leaving. It's just, you have to be really strong and confident, and then I think it's gonna work. Yeah. And then on the other side, I play the Panorama Bar, the Robert Johnson, or the other clubs, and I think it's a good mixture.
How does having a daughter, how does that affect your perception on the industry and how you kind of navigate your career?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely different, because I'm not going on tours for like 1 or 2 months, and I'm like, okay, winter sucks in Berlin, so let's go to Australia. So that's definitely not possible, because my daughter has to go to school, and also we cannot just move somewhere because she would lose all of her friends. But then, as I said before, I have to think about what kind of role model I want to be for her, and she knows that I'm working hard, and that's cool, and that I'm very happy with what I'm doing. Of course, sometimes when had like long travel with delayed flights, I'm sometimes like, I hate this, but she sees me coming home happy from my job, and I think that's really good. That's a really good role model for her.
Yeah, it's really interesting, because I've spoke to a lot of people on here on kids, and it's either, for me, it kind of, from my assessment, I don't have kids myself, so I'm literally cannot comment on this. But from my outside assessment, kids either light a fire in yourself to kind of just take things to the next level, and like really just want to go, okay, well, I'm doing this for this person, which means I have to do this on another level. And then also the other side of it is, okay, well, actually, no, I just need stability, and I just need to focus on giving them the best possible life in this stable way. It's really interesting. How did you find the focus shift when you had your daughter? What did it was like, okay, now it's about her?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I had this kind of mom guilt, like every working mom has it. But then on the other side, I saw other parents, they've been working Monday to Friday from like 8 till 6, 7, 8 in the evening, and they brought their kids to school at 6:30, and the kids didn't see their parents for 5 days, and I was only away for like 1.5 or 2 days. So I'm like, okay, my thing is actually better, or how do you call it, And so, but then having kids doesn't mean you have to give up your own dreams or your own life. And I think that the kids, because they don't know another life, because they come into your life, and what they have is like the normal for them, And for my daughter, it's normal that I'm not there at the weekend. Now she's also old enough. I take her sometimes, and
that's cool.
I mean, we've been to Seoul because she's a big K-pop fan. Of course, it was like heaven on earth for her. She was like, wow. I mean, which other parent is going to take the kid to the city of their dreams, And I mean, the disadvantage now is if I'm like, hey, you want to come to London or Paris? She's like, nah, boring.
Giving her too much of a good life.
Yeah. So she's like, Seoul would be nice, maybe New York, Toronto, Vancouver, LA. I'm like, yeah. Hang on.
Chill, girl.
Yeah, so I think it has also advantages, to be. I mean, of course, on one side, disadvantages. Most of the time I'm not here at the weekend, but I mean, this is our life, and she doesn't know a different life, and other parents are away during the week. But then on the other side, I think I'm very open-minded and free, and also how I raise my daughter. It's everything what I learned from the scene. I never said to my daughter, "Oh, one day you're married to a guy." I always said, "Yeah, one day you have a husband or you have a girlfriend," and she grew up with this kind of open-mindedness, and I think that made her a really special and cool kid. And then, of course, the ability to travel with me sometimes is also nice for her to see other cultures and be open-minded, and also be open-minded for people that might be a bit different or maybe have a different opinion. And I think that's very beautiful.
Yeah, man, I love that. Did she spend much time at the shop?
She just did an internship.
Did she?
I don't think she liked it.
AKA slave labor. It's fine. You can say it.
Yeah. I mean, let's say she's lazy, like all the and she wants to be a lawyer, and she did an internship at a very good friend of mine. He's a lawyer, and but she had to take the underground for like 45 minutes. Then she also liked it, but then she was like, "Oh, Mom, I think the next one I'm gonna do at the shop." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, fair enough." And then her and her friend, her classmate, they did it, and I mean the shop is next door, so it's super easy. But then I don't know, it's a bit funny because they thought I'm the mom, or I mean my husband took care of the kids, because he also has this permission of training people on the job, and of course he wanted to teach them some stuff, but then sometimes they were like not really interested. And I mean that did the job really well with like adding stuff to the shop, wrapping up orders, bringing them to the shop and stuff. But those kids are lazy. I don't know.
I love that. It's really interesting. Like, I was talking to my girlfriend about this literally like yesterday, about like one of my best friends is a lawyer. He's in business law and earns a substantial amount of money, right? And works 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, like crazy. And it's such a weird battle that I feel like we all have, where he's in his situation where he's like, dude, I earn really good money, but I don't have time to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then where we're at in this industry is that like sometimes you make a lot of money, sometimes you make absolutely nothing, or it costs you and you lose money.
Yeah.
But we also get to enjoy what we do, but sometimes we don't enjoy it because that's just life and we don't enjoy what we do.
Yeah.
Have you ever had points in your career where you're like, oh, I just wish I just did something normal?
Well, I did something normal. I'm a coder.
How are you? Wow.
Yeah. I think I quit my job like 10, 11 years ago. And I was also working for Ableton and stuff, So I also know this side, and I really quit my job very, very, very late when I said, okay, I cannot do a 40 hours job anymore, have the label, have the daughter, traveling and stuff. And I never had the feeling that the playing records or making music is annoying me or is upsetting me. Sometimes it's just the stuff around, like the lack of sleep and or even not the lack of sleep. I'm quite about that, but sometimes you probably know how it is, especially in summertime. There's lots of people flying, and lots of people are flying for the first time, and lots of people are spending anyway, and lots of people are just super annoying. And lots of people, they come like, this is my seat. It's like, no, this is my seat. And then they mixed up the sides, and or the plane lands and the people are almost like standing up already on the out. And sometimes it's just like you really need to breathe in. But I found a good way to be more chilled about it. I have these noise canceling headphones, and I'm always listening to a nice podcast, and so I don't really realize what's going on in the outside world. But sometimes I think you have to have really strong nerves, and also the airport in Berlin is not the best. I mean, we're the capital city of Germany, but the airport is so provincial.
Terrible.
So you have these, like, let's say 5 security lanes, and there's only one open, and there's like 3 million people, and you're like, and we are also very well known for delayed or canceled trains. When I want to go to Frankfurt or to Offenbach, I take the train, or whatever, to Munich, it's easier with the train. And then you have a 3 hours delay. You're standing in the middle of nowhere. The air conditioner is not working. The restaurant is closed. You have no water. And it's those moments I'm like,
it's first world problems.
I should just be a stay-at-home mom,
Yeah. It's weird, because I think the thing that I struggle with is like the industry side of it. Like I actually, even like with delays and things like that, it's annoying. Like for me, it's just the industry, the business side of the industry that I really struggle with. It. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? It would just be easier just to go and work for somebody else and shut off at 5 o'clock every day than have to have the like consistent industry in my head all the time. If that makes sense.
Yeah, true. I mean, I have maybe something similar. Sometimes, because nowadays I think, especially us women, that get compared a lot, and then it's like, be more like this person, be more like that person. It's like, but already the DJ XY, I'm Cinthie, and I do my thing. And then, years back, it's a long time ago, I was in an agency that said, if you want to make it, you have to be more sexy, make more like the cool artsy photos. And I'm like, but there's already tons of people doing that, I'm just more. And I think, when I post something from the studio, it's not really like high class film, but I think that people get the essence, and it's like how I jam, or from the shop, what kind of records we have. And I think there's also a lot of people, they appreciate that, just normal people making music, sharing music. But sometimes, as you said, the industry stuff can be quite tough, and I can especially understand it for younger people. It doesn't only have to be like a woman, or it's also for guys, it's different, because they also get compared, or like whatever, trans people, whoever wants to go step their foot into the door. And also I think it also depends where you're coming from. I think that especially in UK, it's a really big business. It's like, if you don't have a manager, you are nobody. While in Germany, we don't care. We just want to have a good time. And
it's very different. It's very different. Yeah. And that's kind of why I asked, like, do you about the record shop, like, because like in my eyes, you live a perfect artistical lifestyle, right? It's like you have and obviously this is me from an outsider's point of view, but like you live the perfect, you run a record shop, you get to write records, you have your family close to you, and you sell records, and you tour and do that. Like there's nothing better than that, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But also, is that doable everywhere else? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's true. I think especially having a family in this business is very hard. I mean, we saw so many couples, also DJ couples, they split after some time because they didn't see each other. Or, I mean, we all know it. You're at the party, you're drunk, you take some stuff, it takes longer, things happen, And, you really have to be strong and really work also on your relationship and keep everything fresh and running. But luckily I have a partner who's from kind of the same business, so he understands what's going on. And also still, when I'm not playing, we still love to go out and go to parties and see our friends playing and stuff. And I think that's really good. I mean, I think if I had a different partner, it would be pretty hard, especially my ex was very jealous, so that kind of killed the vibe all the time. And I think it's not doable. But but I'm not sure if I would live somewhere else. I don't know. Let's say if I would live somewhere else, or if I would have chosen a different kind of way, more into like whatever. I want to be like at the top. I just want to make as much money and just really have my brand and stuff, and have lots of collaborations with famous toilet paper, whatever. Of brands or kind of stuff. Yeah. Then I think it would be maybe different, because then I think also the pressure would be much more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some can take it, some not. And I think where I am now is like, I think I'm very well in the middle, People know me, but there's still people that don't know me. And I think I have a lot of respect from people, and yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, I think I would also not be very happy if I would only play festivals, and I'm so disconnected from the crowd, because they're 5 kilometers far away. So I need my clubs, and sometimes I play some bigger festivals, which is of course nice. And I think it's everything in my life is a good balance.
I love that, and there's not many people I speak to on this podcast and on a daily basis through friends that can say that. And I generally feel like you mean that as well. How long has it taken you to get there as where you're at? Because I think that doesn't happen overnight.
No. I mean, this is actually maybe my second career, because I started working in a record store in 96, then started playing in clubs 97, 98. And then I think I had my first release in 2000, and I was signed to quite a big label, like a Berlin label.
Which label?
Called Low Spirit.
Yep.
Low Spirit Electric Kingdom was the label of Westbam, and they organized, all the Maydays, all the love parades and stuff.
Yeah.
And the label was quite commercial, so I think I had this kind of stamp of also being commercial, even though I played quite cool music.
So Berlin of you.
And then, of course, it took me some time to get away from that. So I left the label in 2003 or 4. I think it was also the first crash of the records.
Yeah.
When I think the MP3 kind of thing came out, and then I didn't have the label anymore. Then I kind of struggled a bit to get gigs, to be honest, because some people they said, "Oh, she must be super expensive because she was with the label," and then other people said, "Yeah, she must play super commercial music." And then it took me like quite some time to convince people, and luckily I had some friends that gave me the chance to play and book me, and then from there just built up really, really naturally, and then I think 2000, but I played mostly, let's say, Berlin, sometimes a bit outside, but not at this level. And then I think in 2009 I had my daughter, and after that I was like, okay, so there's 2 ways. There's either there's something happening now and I continue, or I'm just gonna let it die. Take the gigs I have. And then luckily I found these the guys, and we formed Beste later in 2011, and that was really on a different level, because suddenly I had my own label, I was my own boss, I could make my own decisions, I had everything under my own control. And suddenly I also felt like, because then I was already 30 or 31, and I felt like I grew up a bit, I had my daughter, I could handle responsibility, and that was on a different level, because when I was signed to the other label, I was 18, 19 years old. I just came from a small village. I suddenly played in Japan, or I played in London and Amsterdam, and I always had to play the opening because no one was taking me serious. Also, back in the days, there were only a few girls, around. There was no one I could really talk to, or also the social media thing was not there. We barely had internet. YouTube just started, and it was not like today you can communicate with so many people and get tips and stuff. And to get back to your question, I think this career, what I have, really started in 2010, 11. And then it just grew naturally, from like having Beste, and then from Beste grew my Crystal Grooves. Then I was lucky enough to play my first Boiler Room in 2014, which like opened more like an international door for me, because I was a woman, playing records, and I had my singer Albert Vogt with me. That was something special, and I think I got a lot of plays and like super nice comments, and from there I always built it up. So I would say it took me like 10, 11, 12 years, but still the way is still going. It's It's not that I'm like, okay, I wanted to be there, now I'm like chilling. It's more like I want to continue on this level. Want to do it as long as I can. Yeah.
Is there like a constant drive for wanting more, or is it a case of, okay, well, we've achieved that and let's now go and achieve that, and how do we get there? Like, how do you kind of work your business in a sense of being the artist?
Yeah. I mean, I have some dreams which I write down every beginning of the year, and then I try to achieve those goals. But it's just, I don't know, it's just like normal goals, I would say. It's like, okay, play regularly at this or that club. You maybe have this and that festival, maybe collaborate with this and that person. And so far, I have to knock on wood, so far everything happened. And
Amazing.
yeah, but as I said, it really depends what you want. I mean, for some people, maybe it's nice to play a back-to-back with David Guetta at Tomorrowland. So that's definitely not on my list,
Yeah.
Yeah, but the goals I had, I mean, I always wanted to do an album. I did one. Now I'm working on the second one. And it's then I saw, for example, it's very funny. I did a remix with my husband for Huxley, and I was nominated as best track.
Yeah.
From Beatport and I think Wishes Award. It's a Spanish brand, and we made it to the 3, and then I'm like, yeah, this is really nice. And then I saw Ron Trent, he was nominated for a Grammy, and then I was like, yeah, I mean, that's really nice, just stuff like this. I'm not sure, of course. But then on the other side, also I have a friend, not a friend, someone I know. His name is Hauschka, and he's German, and he did some amazing records on compact. And then, like 1 or 2 years ago, I was zapping in the television, and I saw the Oscars, and then it's like, yeah, and the Oscar for best soundtrack goes to Hauschka, and I was like, what the fuck, I know this guy. And, I mean, you never know where life is going to, and I don't know. I think for now, my goal is, of course, to play. Maybe push my label more. I have a couple of great label parties coming up in some nice clubs next years. And then, I want to push the label, and also want to concentrate more also on making music. It can be quite hard between the traveling and stuff to do it, but I'm very strict with it. So usually from Monday to Friday or Thursday, I go to the studio, and that's really my, what's the English word for it? My priority thing now, because, with the DJing, you play, DJ gigs come and go. But, but then the music is something that stays, and even, let's say, if I'm 70, maybe some people, they will find my records and like, oh, yeah, cool. It's like a 40-year-old record. That's too nice. Yeah.
That's the amazing thing about streaming, right? Is that records can come back around very quickly just by potluck, right? It's like you just never know what records are going to do well nowadays on the streaming side of things.
Yeah.
I want to go slightly into finances of releasing records, like releasing actual like physical records, because I think there's a lot of people that listen to this that have never released a vinyl record and don't know the costs or what can be made on that as well if you're selling good numbers. Like, can you explain that slightly?
Yeah. So, I mean, most people would start with like 300 copies, but then with the pressing cost and the mastering, you don't break even. So I do always 500 to start with, because if I sell them all, then plus minus zero. So you need a good mastering, which is around, 400 or 500, I would say. My mastering guys, they do the master foil.
Yeah.
It was an extra 200, I think. So it's like 650 euros. And then I send it to the pressing plant. And then I would say the 500 copies, they cost maybe 1,600, something like this.
Yeah.
In 1,600 and 1,800, but also depends. If you want to have a full cover, then of course it costs more. I keep it simple. Music focused. I just have the inner label on the record. Then of course you want to have maybe a little bit of promo. You want to send it out to the key DJs. Let's call it like this. It's another 300. to 500 euros. And that's definitely, so if you want to start a label, that's definitely something you want to invest, maybe like 2K, 2.5K. And then also, I think as an artist, if you're releasing somewhere, you should also keep this in mind. If someone is really investing this kind of money in you, then that definitely means a lot, and people should appreciate it. Yeah.
Do you think it's still a viable business, just the physical side of it? Do you think it is? Do you think it can be, or does that take time?
I mean, it can be. I mean, there's some really big players in the scene. They're still selling a lot of records, and I mean, my records also sell well. I always repress. I mean, I have some catalog numbers that sold almost like 6,000 copies now, because I repressed in the last 5 years. And then, but yeah, I think if the music is good, and then you can still sell a lot of records, and if you have your crew, if you have your audience, if you have your community around. But I think nowadays it's just it's kind of everything together. It's also the streaming, the downloads, and I mean, if you're lucky enough, you land a sync deal, which is like kind of winning the lottery. Then of course you need to sign up and get all your royalties, get your publishing, get your mechanicals and stuff like that. So yeah, if you collect everything, then you're definitely fine. But I mean, when I started Best Modus, we were like the vinyl only, and we were like almost like, the Nazis, the vinyl Nazis. Everyone's playing digital,
Yeah.
And, but then on the other side, we at some point said, yeah, but it's bullshit, because I mean, it's nice to have or to be in this vinyl only kind of community. But then what about the fans in South America? They can't afford the shipment, they can't afford the records, and why do I want to exclude them from listening to my or our music? So that's why I also started with the streaming and stuff. And yeah, so now I do everything together, and I think it works really well.
Yeah, it's really interesting because when I first started my label in 2020, what I would do is I wouldn't press every record on, but every year I would press all of the records on one record.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's not really for DJs, it's more so for fans listening, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd always put like a vinyl only record on that vinyl. And it's kind of more of a merchandise than an actual vinyl pressing.
Yeah.
But that was what kind of made it viable for me financially to be able to do it. But I do, there is something that I absolutely love about physical music, which I do think it will, I think it's slowly coming back in more of the merchandise way, where artists can press old records on tapes, on vinyl, or even on CDs. I'm seeing like people do it on like iPods, where they like buy an iPod Nano and like they're literally like selling the iPod Nano with just their music on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy, but it's interesting, right? I think I think people like physical things.
Yeah. I think they appreciate it more, because sometimes you download, or sometimes people downloading illegally 1,000 tunes and then they never touch them again. On a record, you really pay whatever 14, 15 euros and you spend the money for it. It's in your shelf. So I think you appreciate it a bit more.
Yeah, no, I agree. Thank you for Cinthie for coming on. I absolutely loved that episode. Go check out Elevate Records if you are in Berlin, and go check out Cinthie's music. She's insane.